Welcome, listeners, back to Taku Katsu, the podcast where we review anime episodes, old and new, watching the first episodes and see if we like it, what we don't like about it, if we'll keep watching it. This is the second in our trio of formational anime, we'll call it, with my pick, Revolutionary Girl Utena. Basically, the premise is girl is sad, gets given a little pick-me-up from this teen, I'll say, but an older boy when she was a kid, and she took that to mean that she should then become that boy when she gets older. You know, be your own prince, basically. But I am here with my co-host, Cori.
Welcome to the land of roses. Please present your ring at the fountain so that you can go up into the sky castle.
Accurate. And Patrick?
I need to become the princess that I've always known that I should become. Just like Utena. I need to become like Utena.
Facts. And I am Vicky. Again, this is an old anime. It was made in like 97.
94? 97?
Yeah, 97. It's like late 90s. Not early 90s. Super, I love it. I will just gush about it forever and always. And any excuse I can make them watch it or rewatch it, I will take gladly.
You've done a good job of that.
Yeah. Well, I know Corey's seen it before because I made him. Patrick, have you seen it before?
I've probably only seen like maybe the first few episodes, but kind of rewatching it, I was like, oh, it's this show. And I personally didn't get into it. It didn't leave that impression on me, but it was very interesting to kind of like revisit it. But yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first heard of this show, it was because of AMVs. Like, you go to a convention, there'd be an AMV, it'd be Utena, and then people would lose their minds. And I'd be like, I don't understand. And I'm like, I guess it's just a girl show. Because I'd never heard anyone talk about it. Like, it was clearly very popular, but not with the people I was talking to. Obviously, mostly guys. So, it was very confusing to me. So, whenever I did have a chance, because you were like, oh, I love this show. And I was like, all right, why? And you did a not very good job telling me what was so good about it. But I still gave it a shot. And I think there's still, 52 total episodes?
Something like that. And the movie.
And I'm at 39. Well, you told me not to watch the movie anyway, right?
Yeah, finish the series first, and then you can watch the movie.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that part. But I'm going to finish it someday, but we'll talk about my issues later.
Okay. Well, we'll start with what we liked about it, because I'm ready to gush. We'll start with Patrick.
All right. So to be honest opinion, I think I might like this show. I don't know for sure, but I might have to give it a few more episodes. It's not one of those animes, like you say, give it a few episodes. Once, it's like you watch the first episode, like you think you kind of know what's on the ride, because there's a lot that's introduced that goes on. I wish there was more fighting, and I was like, yes, I think that's a part of the appeal of it, but honestly, I just love the storybook scenes. It just has this weird style that hits to the core. It's so good. I don't know why, but like they just do so stylistic book work with the roses in the corners, and then there's that shadow work with those two, I don't know, mystery narrators.
If I recall right, their names are A and B, and later there's a C and D.
Exactly, like right, like it's so like so stylized, and it's just so much flavor to it, and it's there's definitely like a lot more going on with like it's like a growing up story for a lady, but like maybe more towards that, and like oh my god, there's a lot of mystery, like who are the student council, why is the system there, like what is the bride system, why does I've seen plenty of shows where they pull the sword out of the lady's stomach, and like that's cool, but like why is it happening for her, and all these things, and it's just a lot of mystery in there, and that's why I'm like, I have to give it a little bit more episodes to watch. But I think when you first watch the first episode, you're either on the ride or you're not, because
it's very much like if the first one's got you hooked, you are in it.
Because the beginning's like, it's high school anime, right, or whatever, and then the middle part where she opens the key and like walks up the stairs, it plays like Final Fantasy boss music, and she's just climbing up like for like a 2-minute montage. And I'm like, what is going on? Castle in the sky, and then he pulls a sword and like all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I don't really know what this is all about, but even for her, she's like, what a day, right? Like, what a day.
She's like, what is all of this? I don't know, but I'm gonna kick some ass.
Exactly. And and I guess another thing to like about is long limbs for days. Everyone has long limbs, long legs, long arms. It's also I think that's also a fun style, because like sitting with Code Geass or a Holic, it has that clamp style, and I don't know yet. I'm not sure if it is made from clamp, but it has that body like, ooh, this is very stylistic.
Very stylized.
And I kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah.
It's just legs for days.
It's legs for days.
We got yaoi hands and yuri legs.
A little bit for everyone, guys. You got the pretty boy console and you got, the girls. So, there you go.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Cori? What, after this will be your second rewatch, probably?
At least of this first episode. So I didn't have a lot of like specific things. I just kind of summarized it. It's a story about being yourself with it's not that subtle, but it's not aggressive sense of rejecting social norms. Like, it's very clear that that's what they're telling you, but it's not like yelling at you to do it. Mm-hmm. Shoot, I already forgot her name.
Anthy.
The best friend character.
Oh, Wakaba.
Yeah, Wakaba. Wakaba was like, I'm waiting for my boyfriend. And like, out of context, you're just like, okay, whatever. But it's like, no. She means either the dude that she has a crush on, not her boyfriend. Or, more obviously, because I know better, Utena. Mm-hmm. But Utena's a girl. Utena's not like that. But Utena wears boys' uniform. Which, again, they make a very clear point of like, why are you wearing it again? You wore it all of last year. Get back to being girly. It's like, I don't want to. Or when she's like really good at basketball or whatever. And they're like, you should play on our team. And she's like, I'm a girl. It's like, she cares not at all about being a girl, but she's like, but I'm a girl though. I don't want your sweaty boy sweat on me. Like, it's gross. Like,
I know.
You very much have a way of looking at the world that is no fucks given about what everybody else wants. She meets a dude when she's having a real bad life. He helps her out. And instead of interpreting it as as the story wants you to, like, it's like, oh, it could have been like a wedding ring. But actually, she's just like, oh, I should be a prince too. It's like, oh, okay. Like, she's not worried about gender norms, but she is fully aware that gender is a thing that's important to people. And she, she's fine with it one way or the other, but she's not bothered by it.
Right. It makes sense, too. Like, she's saved by Prince, and, like, she wants to become the prince. Like, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, she wants to be the prince, but she doesn't want to be a boy. And, like, that's a very specific version of wanting to be something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? It's not, I want to be that person, but I want to be like that person. And however I can be like that person is fine. Like, it's that almost radical self-acceptance while also understanding that you can do better and improve. Like, it's the best version of, like, I want to be better. You're not, like, thinking you're bad. You're just like, I could just be better. And I'm going to be better by being athletic and intelligent and also dressing like a boy, because that's what a prince looks like. And it's like, the prince part has nothing to do with gender, even though it's a gender title.
Right.
It's very interesting. She's strong without being masculine, but she's not like feminine, and she's again does not care.
Yep.
Like she's like, if I wanted to be feminine, I could be, but I don't care. So whatever. And I'm like, I am all about the tomboyness of this character. Yep. Like it's like, yeah, like she's like the daughter you might have who just is into sports, and you're just like, good job, you do that, right? It's like you could be a pretty princess, but you just want to be a basketball player. You be a basketball player, and we're not worried about the homosexuality that might be in there, because it's very clear that all the other characters are going one direction or another. They're like, you're a girl, be a girl, or like you're a girl, but I wouldn't mind if you were into girls too. Like, it's just like, it's very okay with being just whatever, and it's not worried about labels, it's not worried about specifics. Like, it identifies they're there, but then it's just like, whatever. I like that. And I'm like, that's why everyone likes this show. That's why young girls especially like this show, because it takes the pressure
and young boys probably
of you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think young boys would like the show nearly as much.
No, I mean, I really don't. No, probably
what?
not, but it's just like that idea. Yeah,
I'm not saying they couldn't. I just think that the demographic is so not for boys. Like, in every way that this could be for boys, it's not.
It's
but I'll get
very
into that.
Almost deliberately overly, not girly, because it's just overly decorative.
It's got flowers and roses. It talks about princes and weddings and brides, but it's just not that. It's girly enough, but it's not girly, and it's not for boys. This is not a show that is aimed for boys. If a boy likes it, cool. Mm-hmm. But they weren't writing this like, all right, what do boys like? Like, this is not that at all. Like, this Naruto, this is not. Dragon Ball, this is not. Right? This is not a sports anime about soccer and God. This is not Ice Shield. Side point. Now that it occurs to me, I've never seen a show that is a sports show for girls or women that is not male gazing. Because this show is not male gazing. There is so little emphasis on their bodies, especially the sexual sense, other than maybe drawing the sword out. But that's a little different.
It's symbolic. It's symbolic of a lot of stuff.
That's why I was like, I like this show because of the symbolic or the metaphors, all that kind of the work and the stylistic of it is just, there's a lot more deeper.
Symbolism.
Yeah, there's a lot of deeper meaning into it, and that's kind of what I like about the show. Of course, I think if I was younger, I wouldn't understand that, but now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see what it's trying to do, and I think that's why I really want to dive into it more.
I think as an adult man, it's way easier to appreciate the show than as a 14-year-old boy. Like, as a 14-year-old boy,
this show's for 14-year-old girls and 30-year-old men.
Wait. My Little Pony?
No, exactly my point.
No.
Exactly
my
point.
That one. Oh my God, no. Do not bring bronies into it.
I'm just saying there's definitely...
We're gonna get brotiness.
Oh my goodness. There's different audiences for different people, let's just say. And I think that's great.
I would say, as formative as this has been for me, I didn't watch it as a teenager. I was fully out of high school, if I recall. Late teens, early 20s when I watched it.
19 counts as a teenager.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, that's why I said late teens. Because it was definitely after I was 18. I don't really I think I found it in a pawn shop, the first DVD, and I was like, that looks interesting, I'll watch that. And then from there, I obsessively went for the whole collection.
You were like, who's that girl?
So
who is that other girl?
Actually, that's a good point. Okay, so why did you buy it?
I saw the cover.
I wish I had the cover to show you guys, but if you've seen the cover, it's just an interesting. it pops out at you. In fact, let me look it up because I just recall it being like so good to like see and be like, that's interesting. And then the whole because they have on the back of it about the Rose Bride and like dueling and the girl that wants to be a prince, not a princess, and it was just like this is the stuff. And then just I devoured it. Mm-hmm. I even have one of the manga. Haven't like finished the manga series, but I just love
any of these.
I want to say it was that third one
up here.
Where she's just like standing there and
yeah, because looking at all of these, I'm like, man, some of these are super like stylistically like. No, this is for girls. This is for girls. This is for girls.
It really pops up.
This one is a little less girly, but her hair is so pink that it kind of skews back that way anyway.
But it pops out at you. To be fair, and this just has that. I
was gonna say like that was the one that would be like, yo, Vicky, what is this? What is this about?
but what was I gonna say? Oh, her having long pink hair and everything, it kind of defies the general like hair color stereotype that we're used to.
What? And interesting, the maker of this anime also made Sailor Moon.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that explains literally all of my complaints.
It's the same.
Every one of my complaints is immediately explained. So I'm just going to say, Hunter x Hunter, this is not, because they're married.
Ooh,
they're married?
Yeah.
I've told everyone this. This is like the best.
That does make sense.
Yeah. The person who made Sailor Moon, and this apparently, Chiho Saito, and the guy who made Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho have been married for like 20, 30 years.
What?
And they are two of the most skilled mangaka of their genre.
Now I have to do some research because I thought that the person that was married to the person that was doing Hunter x Hunter was gonna finish it because they were sick, and that's why it's been in hiatus for so long. Whoa!
Please don't. I have no negative feelings about Miss Chiho Saito, but if she finished Hunter x Hunter, I'd be upset.
Yeah,
because I have not seen a show of hers that I was like, "This is the best show."
Cinnamon's great.
But to be fair,
I love Hunter x Hunter. I really like Yu Yu Hakusho, and they are very different, especially Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if there's anyone who's qualified to finish Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Other than the original guy. Like, if he died, it'd be like Frank Herbert dying and not finishing Dune. It'd be like, Now, I'm not a huge Dune fan, to be fair, but it's just too much his stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, Hunter x Hunter is complicated.
It's another of those formative animes, which makes a lot of sense. Although, the director of the anime, Utena, only did like the early stuff of Sailor Moon, and then he left. So I'm thinking of someone else, probably. But I love the series. Like Patrick was saying, the things that you could watch as a kid, maybe that you don't get until later, or on a rewatch, especially later. And it's like the metaphors, the symbolism. It's like the Christopher Nolan equivalent of anime. It really is. Good. Where it's like you think you know what the series is about, and then the twists come, and then there's more twists, and then the twist of all. Oh my god, it's so good. Which is why I always say watch the anime series first, and then you can watch the movie. Because if you watch the movie, it's going to spoil you for all of the anime, and it doesn't tell the story as grippingly, I think, as the 56 episodes will. But rewatching it, I love that a lot of what Cori was saying was that she is trying to become this ideal person that isn't based on gender, that you can like, you don't have to just wait for someone to come save you. You can save yourself, and like, if no one else is saving anyone else, you can do it. Like, you don't have to wait for someone to come along and be like, oh, things are better now. Even though that's kind of what she did when she saw Seonji like first abusing Anthy.
She did not create Sailor Moon.
No. The director, Ikuhara.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. To be clear, Naoko Takuchi, she was the original writer of Sailor Moon, and she is married to the original writer of Hunter x Hunter and
there we
the
go.
other one.
Because I was like,
that's what I was saying. Yes.
No, I think he just was like the producer director of the anime versions. I don't even know if he like wrote the manga of it, but I just know this guy did some weird stuff after using it. Like, if you thought that was weird, he did weirder stuff. But it's just, I love this series. This anime is my favorite. From the Zettai Unmei Mochugoroku? Man. I had...
what was it? Dream of absolute destruction or something?
It's like Absolute Destiny Apocalypse.
Yeah, the boss music.
It's such a dark
Zettai is forever. Yeah. Because Zettai means like forever or absolute. Then Yume is dream, and then I don't know the word for apocalypse in Japanese because I don't watch that much anime.
Apocalypse. Yeah, it's fine.
That is not... Because I just watched it in with the English subtitles. That is not the word they used. It was like Togarashi or something.
Yeah, I did watch it in English dub as well. I watched the English dub, and I was like, this is good. This is fine.
Yeah, speaking of that, when I first saw the series, I watched English. I think this is the first time I'm watching the sub. Man, it's
just good.
It's still good. It still hits.
Yeah.
I think I personally recommend people watch the sub, because if we can switch to the things we don't like.
Sure.
Oh boy.
I don't think that the side characters' voices are good enough. They are fudging irritating. They are extremely loud, high pitched. Like, I get what they're going for, but I don't like it. I listen to the dub because of convenience, because I honestly get bored with the 3 things that happen in every episode. It's very Monster of the Week, like a lot of 90s anime, especially 90s battle anime, which this is technically not. Like, this is not a battle anime. Do they battle? Yes. Is it good battling?
It's that Sailor Moon. It's that Sailor Moon formal, like, but not
exactly.
Yeah,
it's the problem I have with Sailor Moon is that it's Monster of the Week. The fighting isn't very complicated because it's not really that important. Like, yes, they do a thing, but their strategies are really not
similar.
Deep.
Yeah, it's the same.
They're just kind of like, I have to destroy your flower, you have to destroy my flower. Oh, we have an emotional reason for being in this battle. Okay, take the sword out of Anthy. Okay, here's me losing. Okay, here I win. Or I lose. There's like 2 times when she loses. In the 39 episodes I've watched, I am not impressed, and I'm really tired of hearing that song. Right? I will hear the first... Zetai, Yume... I'm tired of this song. Here's the thing. It's a good song the first time. It's a terrible song 39 times later. And sometimes you hear it. Sometimes you hear it multiple times in the same episode. And it's the full 2 minutes. They don't cut it off. They're just like, go. And they're like, let's reuse this animation.
You walk up the stairs again over and over. Is that like the...
That's
the transformation sequence. That's the transformation sequence, but...
Same animation sequence, everything. Because they're just like, look, we need to cut 2 minutes out of this show. We don't have money for this. Reuse that asset. Reuse it again.
Yeah.
That does. And I do think the little storybook, do you know? That is both interesting and annoying. And I don't have a good way to settle on that. It bothers me sometimes and it tells me something other times, but most of the time it's like philosophy for children.
Exactly.
Like I get it. Moving on. So it's not bad. I just get tired of it. And so that's the 3 things I really have trouble with. It reminds me of Sailor Moon. Not because Sailor Moon's bad, but because Sailor Moon is repetitive as heck. It reminds me, it's just the same assets, the music, the song. Give me another song, please. Do something else. And the fighting is not interesting, so I don't watch the show, I listen to the show. Mm-hmm. I play Final Fantasy, and I listen to the show, and that's how I got to 39 episodes. Because the show can be good, but when it's not good, it's boring.
For me, it's difficult because like I've only seen like for the first episode I was watching it, but I may start to feel the way Cori feels if I get into it like after the first season. Like, okay, maybe it is getting more repetitive.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't know that yet, so we'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I've watched the series multiple times, but it's been over 10 years since I've watched it again. There was a point where they did shorten that sequence, and I was like, whoa, they just like cut to the chase finally, but it's still way longer than you would like it to have been. And I don't know, the fights are... I grew up watching like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and all that. Power Rangers, it's always a repetitive... It's the what do you call it? That's just how it goes. It's just going by the motions.
It's at the time. It's a product of its time. Like everyone was doing it.
I do think that's part of it. Yeah, it was. They didn't have a lot of source material, I assume, to make unique fights, and they definitely didn't try to make the fights that different. Other than like later, so the first 24 or so episodes, whenever there's a fight, it's the same. Then around season 2, which is where I am, they start doing something different, but that different is like there's other stuff on the field, like cars or desks. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't actually do anything. Like it's not actually interesting. And anytime that there's like cool story beats, it gets interrupted by all the boring stuff. Yeah.
It's like there's like a lot of filler.
Actually.
Like this is that kind of...
Yeah. I think if you recreated this show today and gave somebody a lot of creative license, it would be a combination of I'm trying to think of some really good combinations of things, but it would be something kind of like did you watch Excel World at all, Vicky?
Yep. Oh wait, no, I was thinking Excel Saga.
There you go.
Which is very.
Did you? Different. Okay, what was that other? Patrick, you are the one who introduced me to this. I think it was a classroom where they had to go to school, and their school was like about
Isn't that Excel?
If they recreated this, it would be the same basic plot, but they would mix it up with the daily lives and the like side characters and some jokes and some humor, or they would make it super dramatic. But it would be more like these more modern shows because it would have to be, and then the fights might be more interesting. Because it just needs to be punched up in like 3 areas, and then it would be completely good. But 30, I feel like the movie's going to cut all of the filler out, and I'm just going to be like, you tell me the story. What is the end of the world, and why is he called that, or she called that, or whatever? Mm-hmm. Why are they trying to usher in an apocalypse? Like, what is this nonsense they're talking about?
Yeah, it's almost indecipherable, but it's entertaining. Nonetheless,
I feel like I would get a better explanation if I were to go wiki out. This is one of those animes, like, because there's so much to it. Like, what does this really mean? Let me just give myself a quick notes of just all the deeper meanings of what everything is about. Because, like you said, the concepts are in council, the road ride, and like then the worlds that they mentioned. Like, what is this organization within the organization? Who are the people in the background? Like, are just like in the shadows that they're talking about, and like there's an Armageddon that's going to happen.
It's always yeah. And it's always the student council. It's like they're always...
I know, right?
Like the antagonists. Maybe not like the top
There's
one.
There's one other thing. I don't like how I don't like Anthy's...
Yeah, it's a little bit... It's on the
Anthy
nose.
Is a problem.
She's just there. Like, she's literally like, man, you watch her and you can just feel bad for her, and then each episode you're like, how bad am I gonna feel for this girl in this episode? Oh man,
always, yeah.
So I'll put my 2 cents in and I'll shut up for a little bit. Anthy is a dark-skinned character who is either black or Indian. I'm leaning Indian, but it's really not. It's not clear in any other way. And she's treated like an object, and she treats herself like an object. And there's a whole 1 or 2 episodes where you're like convinced, like, oh, okay, this is her true personality. And then the show's like, no. That's what Utena wanted her to be. So that was her personality while she was Utena's bride. But the moment she goes back to someone else, because Utena lost, Anthy's personality just goes back to robot. So she's like Rey from Evangelion, but more human, but also completely subservient like a slave. And her identity is to be the Rose Bride, and thus she is a blank slate. And there's a lot of things I just don't like about it. Because she's not a tragic character. Well, she is, but she's not. She's a tragic character because it seems like that's the circumstance she was raised in or something, but that's not clear at all. She's a tragic character because it seems like she needs help, but she does not want help. She just wants to do what is her duty, which is essentially the opposite of the entire point of the anime, which is to buck society's demands on you. So she's a problem in the sense that I don't like that her character seems to have no growth.
Right.
Because either she wants it or she doesn't, but it sounds like she's just a robot.
She's just
for whatever.
Very admired into the whole, like, all of it. Like, that. I don't know if she was raised to be the Rose Bride.
And then there's this brother character that appears, like, several episodes later, and he seems to be making it worse.
Yeah. The brother is a problem.
Part of me feels like he's not actually her brother, but he's also the only other dark-skinned character in all of anime for 20 years, so what can I say?
They're siblings. They're siblings.
Don't say it like that. That makes me sound like they're kissing each other later. No, they're siblings. They're siblings.
Corey,
it just came out closer than it had to be in my mind anyway.
Corey, don't project your problems onto Vicky now.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, there's only 39 episodes of the anime. So if you're at 38, you're almost done. Yeah.
All right.
It's just the one season.
While you talk.
Movies.
But
with movies.
One movie.
Okay.
Which is just a retelling of the whole series. And one of those is vastly worse at having the sibling relationship. Like, one of them, but basically the movie just goes buck wild. Like, it takes all of the metaphors and the symbology and just turns it up to 11. And I'll say it right now, they turn into cars at one point.
All right. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch this show.
Look, episode 26. He's in a car with his shirt off. That's all I'm saying right now. But I am on episode either 31 or 32, so I've got 7 episodes left.
You're close.
Have you finished Redo of Healer yet?
So, fans of this...
This is a sidetrack. I was just asking to make my point. I don't want to sidetrack you too hard.
No, I have watched up to 11. I was saving 12 so that we can either watch it all together, which, after seeing up to 11, I don't think is going to be pleasant for anybody involved.
Okay, that means we should. We definitely should.
But also, to that point, because I looked it up, there's the possibility of a second season.
Based
on how well
I call it. I'm not surprised.
My point was, can I finish Utena before you finish Redo of Healer?
No,
apparently the answer is maybe.
Because I'm just gonna
watching it tonight. Watching it today, guys. All right.
I'm gonna stop talking. You two can talk about what's not so great about this anime.
Let's see. Really, like, with the Anthy point, she was just like the worst example of what women or girls even in society are supposed to be, where it's like subservient. You do what your, like, as the bride, you do what your master, like, that's just so wild. Because Utena's a middle schooler. This is middle school. Like, the student council might be high schoolers, but Utena's a middle schooler, which is like 8th grade at best.
I think their middle school might be 9th grade though.
Sure.
Oh. Okay. I mean,
I think they're
a little bit better.
I think they're 14. I mean, they don't look like they're 14, but anyway.
Right.
Yeah, they do
Limbs
not.
for days.
But it's just like, Anthy is annoying, if only because it's that thing where, like, you get annoyed at people because they remind you of you, and you try to deny it, so you're like, I hate that thing because that's not me. Because you could see yourself, like, there, just like, nah, that ain't me. But it gets better.
Yeah, the one thing, hopefully, better. Hopefully Anthy gets better, but I think it's kind of like, I don't like her as well, but, like, I understand why they put her in the show. Like, it's the ultimate parallel with Utena and Anthy, right? Like, Utena is, like, the idealized, like, she's doing her own thing, like Cori said, she doesn't care, she's, fighting for what she believes, but then Anthy's, like, the complete opposite, like you said, blank slate, will change and adapt to the situation that is given to her, and just like, okay, this is what her life is now, and, like, she's not fighting, or because I don't think she is able to fight, because she's the rose bride or whatever, so other people have to fight for her, and Utena's, like, the complete opposite, like, you always root for Utena, you're rooting for both of them, but you're rooting for them for, like, different, like, outcomes. Like, I hope she makes it, but just, I can imagine watching this show, and if Anthy keeps getting abused every episode, I'm like, man, I really don't like it. It just further solidifies the fact that I don't like her, and I'm like, Utena's the best. I mean, I hope, like, I'm sure she gets some growth, but, like, for Anthy, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to, like, make any big changes with her, because that's her role in the show. I'm meta animating, like, just like meta gaming this anime. Like, yeah, she's just there because she's the rose bride slave or whatever. And of course I don't like that either. I don't like it either, but I get why she's there. Yeah.
If anything, it's interesting. Her role is vital because it shows you how to eventually break out of that mold that society's put you in, and in this case her brother put her in that position, which has its own implications. Man, like, this series is wild, y'all. It like, the apocalypse is on the line, the literal end of the world. Like, who built this school? Why is there a castle that floats? I don't even know. I've watched the series many times. I don't even have the answers. But she does eventually come into her own, where it's like, yeah, that was a concern that she was molding herself to Utena's expectations for her, and, like, over time, she sort of gets her own personality, which does get wiped once she's someone else's. Man, that just comes out terrible.
Yeah, no, it's, like, for me, it's like, I have to watch 39 episodes to get this payoff for her. It's kind of rough, because I'm sure when I watch an episode, I'm like, Utena, yes, I'm for her every single episode. She's fighting, she's doing her thing, but, like, so each episode I'm kind of growing with Utena, I would assume, and with other characters, but with Anthy, I'm like, do I have to, like, wait every 10 or 20 episodes to gotta get a little chunk of her growth, and then the next 10 episodes, next growth, and, like, but that that filler between those, it's a pretty big gap, so I'm like, man, I hope everything goes well for her, but man, it's I wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me if she didn't change,
Like,
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you don't see it. It's very minute, but it shows that, at least for me, it was like seeing Utena become the prince that she wanted to be, that, like, saved her, so she becomes a prince because she's so, like, I don't even know what the word would be. She's so, like, you know what? I want to be. Her thought process wasn't, I want to marry someone like that. It's like, I want to be that, which is amazing. And
I think it is, yeah.
It's kind of like, if you could, her living her life that way helped someone else eventually start to save themselves. It's kind of like the overall storyline is help yourself save yourself. You don't have to wait for someone else to save you, even though that's kind of like what Anthy does 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Which slightly reminds me, I'm just going to pull this in. Remember so Patrick, there's a whole episode, you can skip it. Remember the cow episode?
Okay.
Yeah, the cowbell. Yeah.
So there's a character who's like in love with her brother, but not in love with her brother, but in love with her brother. And, I forget, like, is he student council? Whatever, it doesn't matter. She's annoying. She is the key reason I am annoyed about the English voice actor.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not that she's bad, it's just it's annoying voice. It's just, anyway. Basically, her whole identity is based on her relationship with her brother. And so, she's also kind of stuck in this mentality of, I have to be this way because, instead of being like, I want to be this way. Because I want to be this way. But there's a whole episode, which, out of context, sounds like a filler episode. But if you think of it in the context of a character who is really bad at being themselves, she convinces herself she's a cow.
I wonder why they picked... You know what? I'm like... Don't want to like guess Anthy's like race, but like, if she's like, has that little dot, right? I'm thinking...
I believe
that's why I said,
right?
It bothers me.
But like,
it bothers me. She's either Indian or some other dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
But
so when I pick it, like, why a cow? Like, I'm just making dumb connections. I'm making stupid connections.
It wasn't Anthy,
a different character.
This
Okay.
character,
That's also really weird.
Yeah.
But she thinks she's a cow.
Yeah.
Although most of that description would not be inaccurate in Anthy's case.
Wait a minute. More than one person becomes a cow. Okay. No, so like, I think No, I'm kind of like down for that, I guess, because it's already in a weird spot for me. So I'm like, okay, I think that's fine with the show. Oh man,
it's very mental. It's very like, if you watch it with the intention of like uncovering all of its little, almost like lore inside, because like the roses mean things. The decorations, like all the stuff you would think is background actually means things in the show, and it's like, it changes subtly too. Like, it could have like a rose border all the time, and then one time like one of the roses is a different color, and like you could not notice it, but if you do, it's like, oh, I know what that means. It's good stuff.
Like I said before, this is definitely one of those shows I would rather wiki to like learn all the spice and like not have to work as hard, because it's just kind of hard. It's like, you know, when you read a book, you're like, what does this character mean? Why is the curtains blue? The curtain's blue because it means sadness. Or no, the curtain's blue because it's just blue. Like, hey, it was just blue.
Yeah.
And so, I guess I can see why.
Is Little Slugger real?
Hey, he is real.
You can take a real, like, lens to this series just to, like, find the deliberate, like, the meaning in things. And it could just be because they thought it was pretty, but it's, coincidence. We'll go with that. Of course that's what we meant.
Exactly. Oh, man. But this show feels like, the more you talk about, the more, like, this show is like, is it just doing this for fun? But I'm kind of leaning towards, like, everything is a meaning. Like, everything is meaningful in the sense. And I'm like, I guess that's that type of show.
Even the cow episode.
Exactly. Even the cow episode. Exactly.
Look.
I would think that.
I don't know if I believe that. I know I coached it that way because I can be generally reasonable. But when I first watched that episode, I'm like, this is a waste of my time. Like, I was really frustrated by the end because it didn't lead to anything. And there are a couple of episodes with Nanami where she just does annoying stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, and it doesn't do anything. And if it does, I got 7 episodes to find out. And she's not a main character. She's not even a real villain. She's a sidekick to a sidekick. Mm-hmm. So I'm really like, I doubt it. I think it was just done to be funny, and I didn't find it funny.
That's their, yeah.
Like, it did have a point, but I think the point was pretty...
Are you telling me that's like their beach episode. Like they're just gonna have fun with this episode. Like,
no, the beach episode is when the dudes have the shirts off on the motorcycle.
Get one.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Get one, guys.
Oh man. Oh
Gender
man.
neutrality.
Shonen.
Yes, we get one, guys. The guys get one.
Shonen in the show.
Oh yeah. If we have not made it clear, this is definitely got your pretty boys aplenty. This is
girls.
90s pretty boy anime. I mean,
left to right.
The girls are pretty enough, but they are not the focus of the pretty.
They're not the prettiest.
Like Anthy can look nice. Utena can look nice, but they are focusing on most of the dudes most of the time.
Because the main point isn't the male gaze of the women. It's not even a male gaze of the boys. It's just a different gaze of, like, the popular boys. That they're all, like, this pretty boy type. Like, big hair.
I still think that's male gaze. I think that's female gaze. I think so. I do think that as a man, I can't say that with any real authority. But I'm going to pretend for just a second that is definitely... they were like, look, these are the popular boys. Aren't they handsome? Look at his shirt. Isn't he well dressed? Oh, baby, he's got some money too. And he's smart and he's strong. He can take care of you. Mm-hmm.
The student council guys.
I can see that.
But
that's also why Utena is so popular with the girls. Which I want to say, I don't know too much about Japanese school systems, but it's kind of like wouldn't you say, like, at least with, I want to say maybe Catholic schools? Maybe not. Maybe not. But that kind of thing where it's like, if there's only, like, all girls in your class, or all boys, we'll get into princess territory with that, where it's like, one of them becomes the, like, idol of that opposite, like, what you're attracted to. Where it's like, oh, she embodies...
I don't know how Catholic schools work in America, but I know how anime schools work in anime.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Are you saying, like, there's always going to be like an idol, let's say, right? Is that trans? Like, and gender doesn't matter. It could be... I would imagine the same thing in the all-boy school. There's going to be, like, that idol boy. Like, oh, he's the boy that every boy wants to, like, be. Even regardless of gender. Like, he's just the sportsman, you know?
Yep.
And I will say, even to a second degree, as someone who did grow up in the church, the word idol for the longest time in anime was like, oh, y'all breaking some rules. Like, because as a kid, right, going to Sunday school and all that stuff, you hear, like, the idol of Baal. Like, that's the one that always stuck in my head. And how it was so bad, and idolatry, da-da-da-da-da. And Japan's like, idols! It's a cultural thing. Let's go! Worship us! Like, it's a cognitive challenge, right. I guess. A culturally cognitive challenge for me to get over. And I got over it, clearly. I don't care anymore. But I'll say the first couple of years when I learned what idol culture was, I'm like, that sounds... If I was more religious, I'd be like, heathens! It just sounds bad. And honestly... There's an argument to be made that, like, if you treat a person or a group or a company, or I can go on, I can talk about politics, but I won't. If you treat someone as the absolute end-all, be-all, best thing ever, and it's not, that's a problem, right? And now, obviously, religiously, you know, especially in Christianity, the reason you do that is because God is the end-all, be-all, and nothing else is. And even if you're not, there's an argument to be made that there is no end-all, be-all, so stop it. But,
is that what?
But yeah, if you have a character...
No, I was going to say, like, I'm sorry, like, is that what Anthy is? Like, she is a weird, like, idol thing that, like, everyone wants to, like, obtain and possess, but, like...
No.
But, or
she's different.
Even Utena, like, are they...
Utena, yes. Utena is, and then, like, everyone on the student council is, but Anthy specifically is sort of a separate thing. She's the goblet. She's the trophy.
Okay.
Literally a trophy wife.
Yeah. She's a prize and a tool.
To literally be won.
Very sad.
In a sword fight.
Very on the nose there, yes.
Yeah. Like, being young and seeing how they treated the Rose Bride, and that she's just, like, this thing that gets passed around, I'm just like, this is a problem. And even Utena kind of falls into that a little bit, but she at least tries to treat her like a person. And the only reason I would say she has trouble with it is because Anthy herself doesn't treat herself like a person. So it's like it's hard to treat yourself, or it's hard to treat someone else good if they're not even treating themselves good.
Right.
And it could be that she was just so abused for so long. She really was. Yeah. Like, man, her story is sad, which is why you gotta watch the whole series, the anime series, not the movie. Not until you finish the anime series. Like, don't do it.
I got 25, it says 25 on here. 25 minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I got some hours to go. I don't know if I'm watching that movie, but I will finish the show probably by the end of the year if I commit to it. Maybe even earlier if I try hard.
The movie is fun.
It's either you watch 39 episodes or you watch a 2-hour movie. It's like, is that the journey?
I mean, I've already watched more than 2 hours.
Exactly.
I might as well finish up this adventure into Anthy's life and Utena being a man.
But yeah.
The man, I should say.
I would say, anyone that knows me and has now watched Utena now knows why I am the influence that it had. Because it wasn't even so much that it influenced, it's more like it put it out there that it was okay to be like me. Like, it was like, oh, this is, I get this. Even Pretty Boy Detective Club, where they're like, you don't have to be a boy. It's the spirit of being a boy, which is what they're going for. The boyish spirit, where it's like, you can be your own prince. You can be a prince. Now, it's not even being your own prince, it's be a prince. Because princes are cool. Not to say princesses aren't, but it's like, I'd rather have a sword and a kick-ass outfit any day of the week.
Well, and that's when you get to be Xena, warrior princess.
That's true.
Oh, that's man. True. Oh.
I wouldn't mind being.
I named my first pet after Gabrielle for some reason, not Xena.
Is that her partner?
Probably because...
Yeah, that's her partner.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I definitely had a weird crush on Gabrielle for a while when I was like 13 years old.
I didn't even like Gabrielle. Like, not really. I liked Xena a lot more. But I appreciated her there. Oh, man. I wish I could just watch Xena, Warrior Princess, all over again. She's so good. Such a good series. But Utena is a good summary of like my mental background.
No, I think it's great. It's like I would assume that like not many people would know about it. So like it's kind of like, I mean, anime back then was more of an underground thing as well, like especially in the 90s, right? So like whoever got it at that time at that young age, like yes, I think a lot of anime, like even Dragon Ball or just like Pokemon, like any of those old anime, when you first watch it, you're like, oh, this is informative years for you, you know. And so if you experience this like Utena at a young age, I'd be like, yep, that's an awakening, just like with Sailor Moon or whatever. Like that's just kind of how it operates. And you're watching it every single day, especially when serialized on TV. You're like, this is my life now. So,
like Cardcaptor Sakura.
Hey, I like that show. I think that's why I'm down for like Sailor Moon and this show and like other girly shows, because like I don't mind watching Mahou Shoujo shows, and like I just experienced them as a kid. Even Cardcaptor Sakura, like I love that show. Even though Cori will say there's some problematic moments, that's fine. But Magical Girl show is great.
I love Cardcaptor Sakura. The English dub was great. I don't care if they messed it all up. They messed up they chopped that show up so hard. I love that I think it was 4 Kids or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I love that. It was great. And then I read the manga. I was like, oh my god, this is way different. There is a lot of romance that should not happen. And then there's some, Tomio, also called Madison. She's definitely into Sakura in a romantic way, despite the fact that they're both like 9. Her brother's got some stuff going on. And then, of course, as I've talked about, and I will always talk about, the teacher who wants to date his kindergartner.
Exactly. Wow. Very informative years. Very, very impressionable for the young ones.
And all I remember is like the cool staff and the cards. I even have the cloud cards.
Oh, that's so good. Yes, that's all I remember.
One of my prized possessions. I don't remember any of the controversial stuff because that shit got edited out real quick.
That's because that wasn't in it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
It's all in the manga. I read the manga years later and I was like, oh my!
Don't bunny drop it. Don't bunny drop yourself, man. Just don't do it to that shelf.
You just have the worst luck with media things, just having the worst, just being the worst.
I'm attracted to terrible things. I don't know. I mean, look, I have to sift through the bad, the weird, to find the good. So those are the middle ground stuff that's like,
well,
but then I do find the stuff that's amazing.
Well, I'm saying, listen, that's amazing. It's weird. It gets questionable at some points. But those points come so far into it that you just gotta roll with it.
Right, like you said with the comics, like once you're in there, like you're just gonna be in for the show. Like you just gotta accept that part. I assume, I don't know what else cool happens, but I expect more of it.
I don't know, it's hella entertaining just learning about the dual system and why everything. I love it. Plus, who wouldn't want to take a boy's outfit and wear it and use, that's why reading, watching the dub, I don't think has as much nuance as watching the sub because she uses different pronouns. She doesn't use watashi.
Oh, right.
She uses boku.
That's a big point.
Yeah. Like that, like even when she was like, I'm a girl, she was like, boku wa kanojo. Like she was like, I'm a girl, as she uses the boyish term possible for herself. It's great.
Which again is not something you would catch if you weren't aware of that. Like I might catch that, and I still I know, but I still might not catch that. Like it's one of those if I'm listening for it, I might catch it, but I probably, unless I'm intent, I understand because I don't know Japanese. I didn't take it. You two did. I'm bad at Spanish and German.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. If they don't do a translator note, I'm probably not going to know this.
Yeah, there was no. It's
I love translator notes in the day.
They're so God. Good.
Fan subs were so good for that, and nowadays we don't even get that.
You got so much background and information, education.
You were actually learning stuff. Yeah, you were aware.
Yeah, I would say that started my education of learning Japanese. Translators notes.
I wish that we could have an option on dubbed anime or even subbed anime from official providers that was turn on editor's notes.
That would be amazing.
That would be just an option. It doesn't have to be on there automatically. Just do you want editor? Yes, please. I want to learn more about this show.
Why did they use that
just
word?
A bonus. Yeah. It would work a lot better for shows that are really obtuse, like Katana Gatari or Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, where you're just I don't... What? Okay.
Yeah, you have to pause it to get everything in.
Yeah.
It was the pop-up video of the anime world.
Yeah, that's good.
Pop-up video. So good. Patrick, anything you don't like?
I think we kind of went through that. I just, I assume it's going to be a wild ride. I want to know more about the system. It all seems convoluted, but that's the show that we're telling, and you're telling me about this cow thing, you're telling me about these other things, the brothers, a lot of controversy, so, and I don't like Anthy.
Don't expect a lot of world building because there's a little.
I don't like. I don't like Anthy, but I understand why she's there, and her role.
No one likes her.
Yeah, no one likes her, right? But I get it.
She's not likable.
I get it. Yeah, she's
from the start.
She's made for that, and the power of Utena is going to make me power through and watch the show. Is what I'm trying to
say. To be clear about my opinion, I don't dislike Anthy. I don't like how she's treated. And yes, she could do something about it, but I don't know why she's not, and that's confusing. At least a little bit. But as a general character, I'm not anti-Anthy. Yeah. I'm like, all right, Anthy, you need to get away from this thing that you won't leave. So that's a problem. But that's what I said.
Right. I don't hate her. I hate the portrayal of her. Let's say I'm sure her situation. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it's just a rough time. Like, you can't do anything about it, and it seems like no one else could do anything about it. And you try to think there's a change, and you hope for it. But are you willing to spend 39 episodes to get the payoff for her ending? And I don't know. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to end well. Like, I'm like not sure. Like, I hope for it, but even at this point, I'm not sure. Like, if the anime doesn't end well for her, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I'm like, damn, that's a bad ending for me. I would not want to get there.
I'm just gonna say the ending is worth it. Okay, is worthwhile. And it's better if you don't watch the movie first. Okay, don't spoil yourself with the movie. Then you get the whole... yeah. The movie, I mean, so you could watch the movie. We'll do a quick movie. Okay. The movie's not horrible. It's not bad. It's a retelling. And it's almost like they rebooted everything. Because she's a new transfer student to the school. And, like, she's got short hair. Which was pretty awesome. Like, she gets the chop. It's, like... different school uniforms, they feel older, and it's a lot more mature tone. Like, Anthy in it also is like, it's almost like they go harder and more in your face with, like, she's the bride, and the things that brides do.
So, hold on. So, is the movie like, it's not a recap, it's like a retelling?
It's a total retelling, it's not a sequel.
Okay, I see it. I get it now, yeah.
Almost like an alternative storyline that also tells sort of the same story. They've got
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Like, totally different time, like a different retelling of it, yeah. Okay, that makes sense then.
A little bit, but if Brotherhood was bad.
Yeah, which is...
I think it's...
the original Full Metal Alchemist, not the Brotherhood. Brotherhood's good, which is like the 39 episode Utena. Don't watch the movie because it's like the original Full Metal Alchemist.
It's like... Exactly. It's like, I don't know why they made it. It came out like 2 years after the series. It's not like they were waiting for the manga to finish. It was just like, hey, let's make a movie in a different way. And then they turned into cars at a point. It's so wild.
With the power of the end of the world!
Yeah, it's like the anime series is made by Christopher Nolan, and then the movie is made by David Lynch. Like, it's two cool directors. Mystery abounds in both. But one is just much more in your face with, like, the problematic elements.
Sure. Okay, no, that explains a lot. That makes sense, then.
It's still good. I still recommend watching it, just not before you finish the series.
So, Patrick's going to watch at least one more episode, is that what I'm getting?
For the sake of... I have to, for the sake of Vicky, because I need to know. I'll watch... Comparing the show will make me understand Vicky. That's just how it works, you guys. Like, watch the anime. Like, watch Stein Gates. I watch Stein Gates, and I understand Cori a lot more because of it. Yeah, right. That's how it works, guys.
That is...
Look, like in fighting anime, you just gotta punch somebody so that you can talk to them.
You learn with your fists.
We're a podcast about anime, so you have to watch an entire series so you can understand the people you're talking to. So, Vicky, finish Genshin so you know us.
Okay, first of all, I've got several volumes. I've read it.
I have all of the volumes.
I will probably finish watching the series.
Come over. Take a flight.
Oh yeah, just take 13-hour drive. You know.
You can fly. Get a plane. Get a train. Let's go.
We got a trip.
I will visit.
We got a road trip.
Once. Yeah. We'll road trip. Hell yeah. It'll be Taku Katsu on the road.
Yes. Vicky, are you going to rewatch this again?
I probably will. Once I find my movies, my DVD collections, I'll just pop it in and just like mainline it. It's so good. It's even the repetitive battle sequence, the 2 minutes ascension up the steps to the castle. Just for the Black Rose arc alone, that was like my favorite arc. So good. Like, there's arcs, y'all.
That was a better arc. It was more interesting. There was more world building. There was more talking about actual something that happened. Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Hunter x Hunter, now that I think about it, where it's like there's different discrete sections
Cori is just not.
that have their own like plot lines. He's just
I like that comparison at all. Hunter x Hunter is so good.
Hunter x Hunter is the best. It's like so good. But Utena's got a little bit of that.
It's like comparing peanut butter and jelly to filet mignon. It's like, what?
I like peanut butter and jelly, though.
I like peanut butter and jelly, too. But, you know, a good meal is different than, you know, a tasty bread and jelly sandwich.
Sometimes PB&J
hits the spot.
It sticks to your ribs. Mm-hmm.
Or you could just go buy some ribs.
Too much work.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. That really a discrete 39 episode meal, or like what did Hunter x Hunter end at? Like 100.
The original series was shorter. The 2011 series was like 70 something.
That's not 50
something.
It's enough.
It was enough to be a lot, but not so much to be One Piece.
Well, nothing ever will be.
Yeah. Nothing.
Case closed.
It's its own category. It's
Sase-san. Look, I know 3 very long series. I will quote them every time. Dragon Ball Z, Ranma, Naruto, they are not that long compared to One Piece.
Pokemon.
And case closed.
That's not fair.
I had to look at Pokemon, but I do think that Dragon Ball is probably in the, let's see, at least 500 episode territory, while One Piece is easily 1,000.
Holy crap. Yeah.
And then Naruto is in the 300 episode territory, unless you want to count the Boruto. And then that's the problem with Dragon Ball, is Dragon Ball is split up between original Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball GT.
Yep.
And you should never watch Dragon Ball GT. It's not worth your time. And then, of course, they have movies. And then Bleach was, you know, several seasons. But when we get into this show has been on TV for 10 plus years, then we're talking 1,000 episodes. Because even if we talk about, like, shows now that have been on for 5 years, like My Hero,
that's been 5 years.
They take a break. They take a break. While shows like One Piece, Case Closed, Sase-san, they don't have breaks. They have filler. They have 52, you know, or at least 40-something episodes a year.
Yeah, it is wild.
One a week, every week, except for emergencies and breaks.
They're like the Simpsons. Like, back in the heyday. Like South Park. Like, when they were in the heyday, they just, every week, just doing it down. Yeah.
Pumping them out. And nowadays we don't do that, like, which is probably good. Like, less filler is good, but less anime is disappointing. But Dragon Ball, just pumping them out. Right? One Piece, I don't know how One Piece does it. I really don't. But I don't watch One Piece, so
same.
You know, but Case Closed, like, Case Closed will never end because they will never close the stupid case of how he got turned into a child. And I liked that show, and it had 1,000 episodes like 10 years ago.
Be a kid forever. He's like Ash.
It's like,
let me look up Detective Conan.
He's like Ash. He's actually in a coma, and like these are all just his brain trying to, you know, experiencing all his moments before his death, just like Ash, who will never age, and that will never end too. Pokemon, they're immortal. Pokemon will never end either, you know. Same idea.
Okay.
You can always draw a weird looking monster.
Case Closed as a manga started in 1994.
Dang.
There are 99 tankobon volumes as of April 2021. There is a list of 1,016 episodes.
Wow.
You know what?
And there's a assumption that the show or the manga will end in the future.
Well, eventually it has to.
We don't know when, though.
All things then, but just like how long of the streak can it take?
But there's a sort of thing out there like, yeah, it might end soon, but that's not like there's no soon. What does that mean? That question's been asked for a while.
It's kind of like, do you actually hit a weird side tangent? Do you think we'll experience the end of Simpsons or like a South Park, like because it's been on for so long? But like, do you think we'll ever experience that? Like 50 plus years, 50 seasons of Simpsons, and like it'll end because of they have to end it, or like voice actors or whatever. But in our lifetime, do you think we'll actually be able to experience that, or it will continue after our death, just like the Conan?
For some reason,
I think it will. Yeah.
I thought The Simpsons had already like ended. But then I saw like more new episodes, and I was like, they're still making new episodes.
Yeah.
Like, it's so wild. It's like SNL. Will that end?
Right, exactly. It's like one of those a grandfathered show that would never like. And it's kind of weird for me to think like, are we gonna experience the end of a show? Because anime, like, it's just up a year, like we're done. But like, yeah.
So Pokemon has 1,166 main series episodes. So they've actually outproduced Case Conan, which is going to be longer.
Conan, that's the Conan seemed like it's a little bit older, but maybe they're released around the same time.
It is.
Or not.
But you also have to remember that Pokemon is more popular. So the main series, they probably just cranked them out.
They had no breaks. Just keep on going.
And it's not based on a source material. It is its source material.
Yeah, you just make it up.
Isn't it?
You just like...
Pokemon was a game first, and everything else immediately after.
There's no like storyline. They followed the storyline.
They made it
a little bit.
They followed a storyline, but there was no original storyline. The storyline was the game, and the game had a very loose story.
Right.
Like Team Rocket wasn't really in the game very much. There was Giovanni.
Yeah.
But there was nothing more elaborate than a bunch of guys who wanted to go into Silph Co. and take some Pokemon. Like, it was not that deep. But the actual anime and the movies and the side stories and the side games and all that...
It all goes to the original game. Yeah, it references the original game, but it's everything after Red and Blue, I would assume, is just like, okay, now we're doing this now, guys. We're making this forever.
10 years old forever. Also, who lets their damn 10-year-old travel the world by himself? Like, damn.
Pokemon is the safest world in the world.
Like we were talking about, where you could go send your kids to the 7-Eleven and, like, they're good. Or you could send your penguin to 7-Eleven or your dog, and they'll, give them the money, they'll give it to the cashier, and, like, they'll give them the food, and it'll be fine.
That's wild.
The kids drink. Back in the day with our, what is it? Latchkey kids, we're just out and about in the playground, kind of that same feeling. Mm-hmm. We can't do that now. It's unfathomable. So, now, but the good times, the good days, we had that.
Before times. So just to kind of get into a little B-side before we wrap up, can you summarize what it is about? I mean, you've already said it a couple times, but can you kind of summarize what makes this show what it is for you? We already kind of talked about what caused you to want to buy it. Like, you walk in the store, you saw it, you're like, huh. And then just kind of dig in a little bit and give us kind of a concise wrap up. Yeah,
it's, so like I was saying earlier, it was like a lightning strike moment to be like watching this anime of this person, this girl that was like wanting to be a prince. And it almost like summarized my own thought processes growing up. Because growing up, I was always like, why can't I do that? Why? Just because I'm a girl. Like, everyone was like, you can't do that. Or, you shouldn't dress like that. You're a girl. And it's like, so? Like, I hated wearing dresses growing up. Like, I hated it. And I was like very not touchy-feely. Like, I hated giving hugs. I hated saying I love you. I just was like, I disliked all of the stuff that was girly. And I remember one day my grandma saying something like, you should stop doing that, you're not a boy. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, I remember having that thought in my head of being like, are you sure? And just having that mentality of like, I'm a tomboy, like, forever and ever. And then just, like, doing, like, I jumped off a dam because a boy jumped into the middle. And, like, I was like, oh, I can do that too. It was, just the competitive nature mixed with, like, just because a boy can do it doesn't mean I can't either. Spoiler alert, I fell. I didn't have as good a vertical jump as he did, or horizontal jump. But, you know, it's still a story. I like to use a scooter. I do all these things that are just not traditionally, like, girly. And, like, I love playing with Legos growing up instead of dolls. Hated dolls. Basically, hated everything that people are like, oh, it's a little girl, it's blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that ain't me. So seeing this anime was just like, there it is. This is it. And then I would say I didn't so much live my life up to that point as thinking like someone had to save me. I was always going to be like independent enough to like be able to like do my own thing. But just trying, and I kind of forgot about that lesson until now, of like just trying to be the best you based on what you want to do and not who other people see you as. It just, man, it's just such a good anime series of like, you can be what you want. You could do what you want. You can be awesome. Screw the other people that think that it's inappropriate. Right. Just because you're a girl or whatever. Like, it's like, who decided that? You don't know that. But yeah.
The opening quote, I forgot what it said. I was trying to look for it, but like the opening quote was like, he says, never lose your nobility even when you grow up, you know, or like your innocence or whatever. I don't even, I forgot the quote, but like that was like, yes, that is the defined moment of like, people need to hear this. Probably show more for ladies because it's geared towards the ladies and the youth, but like never lose your nobility even when you grow up. And that's like what drives her. Like, yes, I am a prince. I could be a princess, but I want to be a prince in that sense, you know. And I love that. It's a very simple line that just, you stick to it, you know.
Yeah. For anyone that has to grow up under like hard times, like you are strong on your own. Keep that strength, and like, you do you. Don't let other people tell you how to do you, because you got it. You already got it. I love Utena. I would cosplay as Utena at a heartbeat. I'd have to do the short hair.
Have you cosplayed as Utena?
I have not. And at first I was like, I could be Anthy because it'd be easy. But
you don't want to.
Look.
I don't want to be Anthy.
No. Let me put it simple. You, Anthy, me, Tosin. No shit. Moving on.
Yeah.
Me, any other character with the glasses.
Oh, it's just, yeah. So it's. I was like, I could do Anthy just because it would be easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to be easy. You don't want to lose no belt. You want that boy outfit suit. Whatever, uniform.
Uniform. I mean, I don't know how much you're cosplaying nowadays, but I encourage it. Go full. Or actually, no, because you're powered by hate. You can't do Utena. You can't do it.
Yeah, no,
you're not right in so many ways. You can't do it. You're incapable.
Are you
coming 2022? Utena cosplay.
Are you saying she doesn't have her nobility enough? She's not noble enough to become.
You're not strong enough.
Oh, are we challenging her?
You can't do it.
Oh boy,
you can't.
Vicky?
You can't.
Vicky.
Okay, the only thing that would be
no, go on.
The only thing that would be like a little speed bump is that I am not very good at making cosplay, and B, there's nowhere to cosplay it to, because man, I am not going to super large functions like a convention until like maybe 5 years. Let's give it some time.
5? Jeez.
That's not that long.
I'm not.
Really. 5 years?
Hey.
Well, 3 to 5 years.
Time. I'm not saying this whole pandemic is going to be solved. But still, 5 years.
That's a long 3 to 5 years.
Because I want them to have going into like, I'm not even going to say political. Getting vaccinated should not be a political topic.
Oh, guys,
it's health.
No.
Like,
rule number one,
kids,
guys. No, rule
we
number
got
one.
vaccinated with all sorts
rule
of stuff.
Number one.
Rule number one: we talk about anime first episodes, news and old, sometimes adult conversations.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And rule number 2: we ignore those rules.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Not to, as you said, not to make it a huge thing, but would it be nice if we all cared about each other enough to sacrifice our comfort so that we could all get a shot? Yes. Would it be nice if people believed in each other enough not to think that the vaccine's going to be either syphilis 2 or a microchip or magnet or make you magnetic or other stuff that is just patently not true and mostly impossible, other than maybe some other stuff. But for the most part, no. We're trying not to all die or kill other people, and that would be nice.
You guys.
That would be the best.
Ask people to wear a seatbelt.
All I'm saying is...
Yeah, seatbelts.
All I'm saying is I'm saying that we all can't be Utenas, and there has to be council members. And the council members are the end of the world, and they're taking the Rose Bride, and we gotta fight for our Rose Bride. To stop the end of the world.
I will say this. People fight a lot about a lot of things, and sometimes we could stop fighting. Sometimes we don't have to fight. We can
let's just
Where's the love?
do what we gotta do.
Where's the love?
Yeah.
So anime conventions can come back. That's
true.
That's all.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Man, let me pay too much money so I can spend some time with some nerds. Let's do this.
For real. Let's go to Gen Con, y'all. We could do a little booth. We could do a live recording at a convention. Just set up ourselves and be like, hey.
We have to actually be, like, notable. We can't just be...
Who
needs notability?
Yeah, there you go. That notability.
The people who would allow us to be there.
No. We'll go as, like, just regular folks, and then we'll just gather.
Walk around.
And, like...
We'll do a little tour,
yeah.
You know?
Here's the problem. We can record at a convention, not as guests, as just randos.
Yeah.
But we just do it in a room. And then what's the point? Other than we being at a convention.
We'll do interviews. We'll start walking the room and start and talk to the crowd, you know, and yeah.
All right, social media manager, please get on that.
Yep,
in 5 years when we're going to
3 to 5 years
conventions,
when we've got
actually, you know what? If you are a cosplayer and you don't want to wear a mask, go fuck yourself, because half your cosplay's a mask. You're an idiot.
That's some strong.
Just cosplay something
words.
that's yeah.
I mean, if you are any ninja in a cosplay,
that's the easiest one.
Like
the
shut
easiest.
Up. Like I don't.
Safe.
If you are cosplaying as Kakashi but don't want to wear a mask, shut up. I don't care anymore. Like,
see, there's more.
You do it for fun. You can do it for safety.
I actually have problems with them.
Just take your Gojo cosplay and pull it down.
Yeah, like I have problems with not with the mask idea. I have problems with them not being true to Kakashi's cosplay. That's my problem. Not the fact that he's not wearing a mask. Like, come on, commit. You know.
That's true.
I mean, it's just a simple thing. If you're not going to get vaccinated and you're going to be out with people and you're not going to cover your mouth and your nose, you're not worried about other people. And we are a human race. We have to be concerned about other people. That's how it works.
It's the council members. I'm sorry.
We get so caught up in like trying to do what we want, and we forget that we have to also be aware of what other people need. But
sadly, I think we three know that, but there's a reason for that. I'm just saying.
And that has to do with, that's another layer probably, right? You're talking about a difference.
Yeah, there's some layers.
Yeah, there you
go. We care. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
There are some reasons.
Some people,
our council members.
I hope you're dead.
We gotta fight. Yeah. We're still fighting. We gotta. Everyone's gotta.
Look, I don't even have to fight the council members. I just want to have a conversation, honest conversation. Let's talk about it. What are we trying to achieve here? And then they'll be like, end of the world. I'm like, oh, that's not really helpful.
Shiroku.
But yeah.
Absolute Destiny Apocalypse. It's a great ending song. And I would play it now.
Maybe 5 times.
Every time. But I think our general consensus is we will rewatch Utena in my case, finish it in Cori's, and watch it for the first time in Patrick's.
Yes, that is
everyone should watch it. Thank you guys for watching it with me.
I guess I was gonna say next week is my week, right?
Yeah.
So my informative anime, I was gonna say Higurashi, and we already did Higurashi. It's not as spicy, but this mine was gonna be one that I think Cori really likes. It's called Kimi ni todoke, and it's a rom-com.
Oh.
And yes, I love rom-coms. Growing up, again, like I said, I was a visual novel, not player, but visual novel watcher of the show, like Clannad, Air, Canon, all those good stuff, Angel Beats, all that stuff. Like, I love romantic comedies.
Angel Beats?
Beats. Oh, come on now. But yes, Kimi ni todoke, watching it, I believe that was like freshman year, so maybe, I don't know, 15, 16, right? That's very like right. Still, my mid-teens and very impressionable. But Kimi ni todoke is a lot of it's a good romantic comedy because it does a lot of things that aren't normal, and it just flips some parts on the head, and the characters are amazing. So next episode, Kimi ni todoke, prepare to jump back into romantic comedy because I don't think we've done a bunch of those lately. I'm trying to think.
If we were going to do romantic comedies, it's usually going to be me, and I try not to overload Vicky because I know how much her heart and soul
even
will
now,
reject it.
In my brain, I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, Vicky.
That being said, Vicky, I think you're going to like this one.
It's a lot of comedy too.
Like, you may or may not like Ranma. You may or may not like some of the other like really like sugary sweet ones, but this one is... Did you watch Chobits?
No.
Are you familiar with Chi from Chobits at all?
I'm familiar with the robot girl.
What are your opinions on what you know about her? What are your opinions on her from what you know?
My opinion... Just that overrated. I said it.
Okay, no, you're
right.
Right. That's a good answer because this is the complete opposite. She is the best.
She is great. She is great. I will not say anymore. She is great.
Is she the one with
not
the
Chi.
Power button in the inappropriate?
That's Chi.
That's the robot.
That's Chi. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, that only comes up once. It's still messed up.
Once is enough.
Very much so. But in Kimi ni todoke, which is translated from me to you, it not only is it an anime, but they made it into a live action drama. I think in Korea and a different one in Japanese.
I didn't know they made a Korean one. Yeah,
I think they did. I think they did too.
All I gotta say is, it's good. All I gotta say is, watching the first episode, I watched it, before this, just got to do my duty. But like watching the first episode as it is, it felt like it could end on that. Like you could just watch first episode and you're good because it feels like it's like a movie. A lot of there's like a lot of movie beats happen in it. And if you watch the movie and not the anime, like the full series and stuff, I think you'd be satisfied just as much.
And I'll say this. The show is good about one thing and bad about another thing. It's good at getting you a resolution in a reasonable amount of time. It is bad about getting that resolution in the same episode.
Yeah.
Like a Korean drama. Like, if you watched a Korean drama before, it's generally an hour long, and at 50 minutes, you're like, oh no! And then they're like, next time on. It's very much in line with that, keep you hooked so you want to watch the next episode. Mm-hmm. But they do resolve the issues. And spoiler alert, eventually, yes, they get together and they kiss. Do they do it the first episode? No, they don't.
It is definitely, like, again, more like Corey was saying, like a drama-esque feel where it's a little bit drawn out longer, but the interactions and the things that they do, it really keeps you entertained, and it's just fun. It's a fun show to watch. Yeah.
And it's not only about her getting to romance. It's about her developing as a person to be more socially connected and also competent, but mostly the first part. So it's basically this quiet girl who learns how to not be as quiet.
Right.
And
Okay,
alone.
we gotta stop because otherwise
It's
we're gonna
great.
be diving, and me and Cori are gonna dive into
Yeah.
another B-side of just Kimi.
I gotta
Next
watch
time
it.
on Taku Katsu.
Well, this has been a great episode as always with my co-host Patrick
Guys, we are all Utenas.
and Cori.
Best girl is the red-haired boy. Not really, but that's okay.
And I've been Vicky. Thank you all again for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.